Welcome back to Media Beat. This is Tanya Garcia, the editor of PR Newser, and once again I am joined by Doug Edwards. He is the author of I'm Feeling Lucky, The Confessions of Google Employee Number 59. And I would like to start with a question today about your previous life before branding and marketing. You were a reporter for, if I have this right, for public radio.
Well, I did a stint as a foreign correspondent for the program Marketplace, and I was living in Siberia for 6 months, and I did some freelance reporting for them from there.
Oh wow, that's super cool. So there's a lot of publicists who have made the jump, a lot of reporters who have made the jump to publicity and marketing, some who are thinking about it. What are some of your top tips, what to be prepared for if you're going to make that leap?
You know, I think there is always a need for people who can express themselves well with a written word. And journalists, the best journalists, are able to do that quite well and to synthesize very complicated ideas and make them understandable. So I think there are always going to be opportunities in the internet world for people who can do those things. It is, in many ways, still, even though video is playing a larger part, a written medium. And so I think you're seeing the power of words in the way companies are growing now online.
So you've had a number of different lives, I suppose. So before Google, you actually worked for another startup, a healthcare marketing startup. And I want to quote the book for a second here. Describing that company, you said, "The place was soaked in adrenaline and constantly shifting direction. Change, change, changed. I left after 3 months, and a few weeks later, the company disappeared. I learned that hyperactivity wasn't the same as productivity." So what does that mean?
Well, that company, which I was at only briefly a few weeks, just seemed like it was doing all the right things. It was very exciting. People were running around and seemed to be productive. But in fact, they didn't have a clear direction. And people were coming and going all the time and really not adding a lot of value. So when I got to Google, it was a different story. People were running around and getting a lot done, but I could see where they were going with it. I could see the progress they were making. And they had very definitive goals about, we need to fix this. We need to make this work better. We need to own this part of the market. And so I would encourage people who are thinking, I just need to join a startup, to put a little more effort into trying to understand what the company is about. I was very lucky. I didn't put that much effort into understanding Google. It just happened to be that kind of a company.
And what made you decide to leave when you did?
I'd been there for a while, working some long hours. I had 3 children at home I hadn't seen much of. And I just decided it was a good time for me to try something else and to maybe decompress for a while.
Well, to that point, you mention also in all the materials with the book that you were 41 years old when you started at Google. I mean, did that have an impact on your work at all?
You know, it can be tough to realign your thinking. If you've been doing things a certain way for a long time, and I certainly had when I came to Google, I'd been in marketing already for 20 years. So I thought I knew how to do things. And what Google taught me was, you know, that's not the only way to do things. It may not be the best way to do things. So if you have the mental flexibility to adjust your thinking radically, I think you'll do better at a startup than if you believe that you're coming in the door with all the answers and you just need to convince everyone to see it your way.
Very good, very good. Well, thank you so much. Again, Doug Edwards, he is the author of I'm Feeling Lucky, The Confessions of Google Employee Number 59. You're also working with a nonprofit that's involved with the upcoming election, and it's called
maplight.org, and they track money through the political system and how it influences the way people vote on issues related to their donors.
Yeah, so it might be another book there after the election next year. So again, I'm Tanya Garcia from PR Newser. Thank you so much for joining us for Media Beat.